to Breakfast with Anne and Paul. It is 7:35. Shall we go through the papers?
Yeah, let's go through the papers now. Try and do anything to warm up now that the air conditioning seems to be turning this place into a fridge again this morning. I've got my thermal vest on and everything. Go on. All right, let's go through the papers here. Are we going to go through the front pages? No. We're going to do Pete Price and Dawn Neeson are with us and have a look inside, or at least at what your choices are. And Dawn, you've been looking at the COVID infections rising again.
I have, and it's a subject I really hoped we wouldn't have to talk about at length anymore, but it's in every single paper, and this is infections have risen by a third in a week again, according to official data. You've been discussing it this morning, I know, with various experts. So around 2.3 million people in the UK now recorded with COVID, up more than 500,000 from the previous week. And the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation have recommended that over 65s, adult care homes, residents and frontline health workers should get another booster jab as of September. There is also advice from some professors that we go back to wearing the high quality masks in crowded places indoors, and it just feels like we're just now going backwards again. It's like this loop of COVID never going away, and I just have to ask, are we going to have boosters pretty much every year now?
Well, yeah, we have boosters for flu, so I don't think it's a bad thing. What I would love to know is where they get the figures from. I don't know where they pluck these figures from, how they know.
This was a week in June.
Yeah, this is the Office for National Statistics.
Yeah.
Right, but I still don't know where they get the figures from, because I know 4 people have had COVID recently, and it's like flu. They're at home, they have their test, they then go back to work, just like flu. One of my friends has had 3 times had COVID. I mean, it is like flu.
The worry
Do they
is
have
that
underlying health conditions?
One of them has, yeah. He's only young.
no, I know somebody young who's had it 3 times and hasn't had any problems. But what worries me most is the fact that the doctors are saying the more often you get it, the increased likelihood is of you getting long COVID, which is the real worry. It's almost more of the worry now, long COVID.
Is that the scientific?
Yeah, we've had two doctors saying it.
Because that is the worrying thing, isn't it? Because I mean, you say it's like the flu, but you get the flu, you recover, you get back to normal life. But if there is that chance that you might get long COVID, I mean, I had it a year ago now, and I guess I could have long COVID because my sense of taste and smell have never been the same since.
Really?
I mean, still just slightly coming back now. I didn't even get ill with COVID though. I mean, I didn't even sneeze or cough or nothing, not a single symptom, apart from losing the sense of the smell and taste. And so long COVID is still not great.
I was very ill. I've had it twice, and I was very ill. I've had 3 injections, just put in my 4th injection. My friends are now being offered the 5th injection in September.
So are you worried about it then, Pete?
When I had it, the first time I had it was when nobody was getting it. I was one of the first people I knew who got it.
Right.
And I was never frightened of dying. I wasn't well, because I've always had problems with my chest, especially after I've done panto every year. I'm always exhausted. But I was really poorly. I mean, and the second time I was really poorly again. I hope that that's given me more resistance. I've had my injections. But we always say it, but we forget how many people die of flu. You know, hundreds of
the good news about this story, and you don't want to terrorise people, but the good news is that even though infections are rising, deaths are not rising, and admissions to ICU units aren't rising as well. So there is good news to it. So it's not like we want to panic people or people should be worried.
That's why I say, people are getting it, having the test at home, and then going back to work.
And a lot of people who are going to hospital are going for other reasons and then testing positive.
So the hospital statistics.
So we've got to be very careful not to scare people.
Okay, Pete, tell us about older carers in urgent need.
Yeah, this is a sad story in the Express. More than 1.8 million over 60s are unpaid carers, and they're totally exhausted. This is all according to the charity Age Concern, and it's playing on their health. Now, the amazing thing about this story is these people are together, they're brothers, sisters, they're married couples. these are the people that never complain about being carers. These are the ones that really need help.
Yeah.
They never complain. They're their loved ones. They married and they took their vows and they're together and they are exhausted. We hear about young carers, but everyone forgets about the older people.
And they very often don't define themselves as carers.
No, they don't.
Because they're just,
No.
related.
Yeah, these are a different breed of people. It's like my mother when she was alive. She never got benefits because she was proud. These people are proud, and we need to make an example about this. There's a lot of people out there saving the government a great deal of money and the
they could be
NHS.
getting- they're saving, but they could also be getting some
They
support.
just want a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Just want a
Yeah.
little
And I think that problem is only going to get worse because that latest data on the census showed that the population is getting older.
Yeah, we're an
and
aging
it's going to continue.
And of course, the other problem is, the pandemic, these people are the ones that are still in isolation. A lot of people are still frightened of going out, and you see them with masks on in the street, and they are still terrified.
Yeah.
I think it's a sad story.
Dawn, tell us about the children bombarded by junk food promotions.
Yeah, the opposite end of the age scale here. This is in the Daily Mail, and this is reporting on a survey by the Journal of Public Health. And researchers have found that very young children, preschool children, are being bombarded with junk food in TV shows. I mean, they use a picture.
They've got a picture of the Cookie Monster
Cookie
there. I
Monster.
object to that. He was a role model growing up.
Does that mean
For
you've got
what?
addiction to cookies? She said, peering under her glasses.
You're a monster.
Easy. Roll monster. I like
The
that.
study has been led by a team from the University of Nottingham, analysed 3 days' worth of children's programmes on various channels, not just the main ones. And they include the likes of Fireman Sam, Teletubbies, and the team recorded each time things like sweets and sugary cereals and crisps appeared on screen. And in some cases, it's up to 72% of episodes have some subliminal almost reference to the bad stuff, the sweets and the sugar and stuff that the kids should not be eating. So we make all this big fuss about banning advertising for these things. Meanwhile, the actual programmes the kids are watching are full of it.
Well, it's interesting because we were talking about this yesterday. Ofcom are apparently under pressure to relax their rules on this sort of thing.
What?
Which would mean that we get more advertising breaks every quarter of an hour or 10 minutes or so, like in America. But also, they would relax their restrictions on product placement, which again then means that children's television, as well as others, will have branded materials just placed.
Just as long as it's fruit and healthy stuff. But I mean, you've got 1 in 4 UK adults, more than 1 in 5 children in their final year of primary school are obese. And we're messaging them with all this stuff.
And let these companies, let them advertise all they want and take all the money off them and give it to the dental service. Because right now we have a major problem in this country.
And nobody seems to be addressing it.
No one at all. We're losing dentists hand over fist from the NHS going to private. Private practices you can't get in because they're too busy. And this is all because their teeth are a disgrace.
Right,
These are my
we've
own.
only got a minute left, so let's go to something that tickles my fancy. I don't know whether this is true, Dawn. 3 million pets in the UK have taken cannabis.
But this is great. I love this story. I mean, it does make you laugh. I'm not sure if I'm meant to laugh or not, but it's in the Times, and basically it's medicinal cannabis. It's the CBD, and owners that are using it, quite legally by the way, to treat their problems, are actually giving it to their dogs in particular to treat things like arthritis and anxiety. And it's quite funny. And they've got this dog here that looks remarkably chilled. Picture. It's a 4-year-old Eurasia. I don't know what that is, but it's been given CBD by her owner, who said that the dog has been much more calmer and can cope with loud noises now. In particular around firework night. It's just like so. The dog is like
She had a consultation with the dog to find out all these mood swings.
The dog said, "Look, hey man, I just need to chill out."
Just give me a second with this joint.
Definitely check with your vet first.
Yeah.
We've got to move on now. Thanks very much indeed to you both. We'll see you again in an hour.